Hello Wastelanders, and welcome back to Cash or Trash from Crossout Mobile Review Series. In this episode, we are covering the Nemesis Relic Plasma Emitter. So starting out, it's 6 energy, so you can have 2 on your vehicle. And it has 4,170 durability, which may not seem like a lot, but due to its very thin profile, it's pretty hard to hit from the front, but from the sides, these things come off very fast. And it weighs 332 kilograms, which is extremely lightweight. So moving on to the perk, and the perk is pretty much just the entire weapon firing mechanism. So if you don't fire for 0.4 seconds, it starts accumulating charges. And these charges are how the weapon fires. So with 0 charges, you're not going to be able to shoot. So every 0.4 seconds, you're able to fire. But if you don't fire when you get that first charge, it just starts accumulating more charges every 0.42 seconds. And it can hold up to 8 charges, so you'll be able to fire 8 of these salvos one after another, like instantly, in like a stream of plasma that does a ridiculous amount of damage. So you want to save up so basically it's an assassin weapon. You want to save up all of those charges and then just dump the entire magazine on something and then turn around and run away. That's how the Nemesis plays. And it does a great job at that, as a full salvo can do like 20,000 damage. So anyways, moving on to the rest of the stats. So it has a 200 meter range, which seems a lot more, or which is a lot more than it sounds on paper, because you're able to shoot people that are on the upper bridge on the volcano map. It's a pretty long range, especially for such a high damage weapon, and the damage, from what it seems, does not drop off the longer the range. It has an 1,000 meter a second projectile speed. All the other legendary, relic, and epic plasma emitters have an 800 meter a second projectile speed, so it's actually the fastest in that regard. But it's tied for first place in the fastest projectile speed for plasma emitters of the blue and common plasma emitters, so okay. It's 100% direct, so you go for those direct damage mods. And it's got an 150 degree a second rotation speed, so it's decent for cars, but who uses cars anyways? And then it's got 5 shots in a burst, so with a full burst of 8 of the charges, you're firing 40 projectiles. So for one final thing to clear up, this weapon does not work off charging speed, it does not work off reload speed, and it doesn't work off fire rate. There is physically no way, it kind of works off fire rate, where you can speed up how fast it fires the plasma, but it's not going to speed up the actual charging, which is the weapon, like the weapon's perk. There's no way to speed up the weapon's perk. No co-driver, no module, no cabin is able to speed up how fast it gets those charges. So that really limits the co-drivers, which is another thing about this weapon. Really the only co-driver that works well with the Nemesis is Falcon. Billy doesn't work because, yes, you're buffing the rate of fire, but you're not able to make it charge faster, so you'll just dump the entire magazine slightly faster, and then you're still sitting there with no charges. Something like Ulfgard doesn't really do the best because it's energy damage, it's not kinetic, so you're not getting that damage buff. So really the only co-driver you want to use is Falcon for the 45% damage boost. So if you don't have a leveled Falcon, you're going to have a lot of trouble with this weapon. So for recommended cabins, if you have a Kensei, run the Kensei with this thing. It is a very good cabin to pair with the Nemesis, and it's really annoying to deal with because you pop out of invis, pretty much exist when you want to, and then just delete the enemy in front of you. That's Nemesis Kensei in a nutshell. But if you don't have Kensei, even if you have like a Gladiator or Basan, I've seen Beholder with Nemesis do really well, because you mark an enemy and then you deal the damage and you just remove 20% of their resistance, and then you use a Yeti to be invis and get out of there. Paired with Beholder, it's a great weapon. And then on Gladiator and Basan, it does okay. But really, Kensei is the best option. Anyways, let's get on to some gameplay. So from that is the Nemesis cash or trash. A definite cash. Even for 80,000 coins, this weapon is pretty worth it. I mean, if you're able to get those coins. You definitely need a Kensei for its full potential to be reached. It's probably like one of the best assassin weapons in the game. Only really topped by the Toadfish, but the Toadfish does 30k damage a shot with good mods. So really there's no beating that. So overall, it's a really good weapon, but if you try to brawl with them, they'll come off pretty quickly. So you definitely just want to be an assassin with this build, or with this weapon. You get a build with invis, you come up behind an enemy, attack them, and then just turn around and run away. That's Nemesis gameplay. But really, that's it for the Nemesis. Please consider to like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye-bye.